this up straight.
I will. All right, everyone, welcome back. It's glad to be. Anyways, it's always good to be together and to dive into God's Word together and to have fun like we're trying to do, and I believe we do it well. I always have fun when I'm with you guys, and it's always enjoyable, and I hope you're finding that in your life as well.
It's because Leslie. She's the fun one.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
I get that a lot.
This week's question. Prepare yourself because this one's a little bit mind-bending.
Oh boy.
And I don't prompt these guys with what the question is. They do it right here on the spot. So, what is your ideal utopia? What is your ideal utopia? Like, in other words, what is, if you could create a utopia, what would that give us, like, walk us through what that look like?
There would be lots of ice cream.
Whatever,
And
don't say anything else, I'm gonna be there.
So what I picture is we're on the beach. It's not going to snow at all. It's going to be about 75 degrees. Palm trees and beaches, of course, mountains and stuff. Till maybe some snow up on the mountaintop somewhere. Okay. That way you get a little bit of sledding or some cool snow shots or whatever. And then but there'd be like a mountain of ice cream somewhere.
Is it edible?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You just it's like they have something like that, like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs by any chance? I don't know.
I don't think ice cream. Yeah, everything was edible.
But yeah, everything's just ice cream and it's edible. You can go swim.
Wonka's
Yeah, you can go swimming in like the chocolate pond, where and things like that. I don't know how the bacteria works for all that stuff.
Well, it's utopian, so you tell us how it works.
Oh, there's no bacteria.
There you go.
It's all edible.
Excellent.
And pizza. I'm very hungry right now.
Must be.
Yeah.
What's the actual definition of
utopia? It is like
Well, here, let me look it
the
up.
actual definition. It's basically
Webster, why don't you tell us what it actually is?
Hey Siri, what's the definition of utopia? No, she doesn't. No.
Okay, here we go. By typing it in. Utopia. An imagined place or state of things in which everything is perfect.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't, fantasy, ice cream and.
It's just perfect.
What
more perfect place to live in than a place full of beaches and ice cream?
Right.
So what's your?
Well, I'm all about the beach.
Okay.
I do love the beach, but that's sort of just my down when I think about taking a vacation. That's what my dream of that is. But my utopia.
I thought it was catch a can.
Catch a can. Yeah. My utopia is my home and all of my family is there.
Oh, okay.
That is perfection.
Oh, she went the sweet.
Well, it's just, now if we were all at the beach and my home is on the beach, that would make it a beach house with all my family there. That, to me, it does not get any better than that.
Utopia.
That's
great.
just making me look
Yeah,
bad.
no, that's great. See, and that's why we are collectively an excellent group because we have different ways of approaching these questions. And I usually don't answer them. So.
I was just going to say,
Yeah,
no,
what's
you
your
have
utopia?
to this time. This time you have to.
Plead the fifth. Do I really have to answer?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're putting him on the spot today.
Harder than.
That's why he sits in the center.
Well, my utopia would be a place where everyone just was always having fun. Laughter was ensuing. Like, everything was funny in a very healthy and good way. Though it would include practical jokes, pranks that were healthy. And I'm with you, man. I'm going the food route. So ice cream, definitely some place warm or a beach or something like that. But ice cream, you name mine too. I mean, ice cream and pizza. So I don't know if we're like channeling each other. But yes, family being there would be great. So if you blend, mine would be blending your two utopias into one, and then I would be
That's a
sad.
cop-out
That
answer.
really.
Dude, no. I don't know if anyone watches the Lego Masters TV show. I highly recommend it. You can watch it on Hulu. But what I just thought of is the one guy's build where they have
The food
food
trucks?
trucks on top of food trucks on top of food trucks.
Yeah.
And that's definitely going to be in my utopia, where it's going to be food trucks from all over. You can get literally anything you can imagine there. And they're all just kind of stacked up on top of one another. And yeah. And then that's the first mountain, and the second mountain's ice cream.
Yeah.
That can't melt, even though it's 75
I know, I was
degrees
trying to figure that one
on this island.
That's awesome. Well, here's where we're going with this, because if you go back to what God created when He created this earth, it was literally a utopia. And sometimes we lose sight of that. And here's a theory I'm going to throw out there, okay? Just off the cuff.
Oh boy.
I think the reason that everyone craves and desires a utopia is because there's something in us that knows, one, that it's possible, and two, that we should be experiencing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the only way that's possible, that it's because God has created us, He has put into our DNA that reminder, that reality of, hey, look, it was once that way, right? And so, and you can read about that in the creation account in Genesis, but we're actually going to go look at today's modern world and say, it doesn't feel like a utopia at all. You know, we have what we're experiencing right now with sickness. We have people who do not treat each other well at all. We have, in the case that I like to fight against, we have modern day slavery. We are so far from utopia. In fact, we're more of a dystopia, you know, where things are just, they kind of stink. And you sit there and go, well, what's the point of all this, you know? But just think, if that was the end of it all, if the dystopia was all that we're ever going to experience, and that was the end, life would seem pretty like you know, it would not be very exciting or having anything to look forward to. But we do have something to look forward to.
We do.
Because from the moment that God created that utopia, He's had a plan. He knew that we would choose to walk away. He gave us the choice to love Him or to abandon Him, which is actually the reality of true love. He gives us the choice. And so, but He knew that when we sinned and when we created this dystopia ourselves, we chose it, that He was going to restore it. He's going to bring it back, right? And so that's been His plan all along. It's a story. If you look at God's Word, it's a love story of God taking that utopia and bringing us back to that moment. In fact, making it all new again. And so that's what we're going to read about today. So if you're sitting there, you're going, man, I'm tired. Oh, by the way, we're in Revelation 21.
I was guessing.
Sorry, I didn't say that. We're in Revelation 21 today. And if you're sitting there and we're still, you know, stuck in our social distancing and we're having to stay home and these things, and it's starting to get to you, and you're going, man, I cannot wait to be through this. I'm with you. But even when we get out, you know, the world's still not going to be utopia, but we're going to be looking forward to that. We have the key to unlock the utopia in people's lives in Jesus Christ. And they need to know, people need to know that there's something better yet to come. And the great thing is we can still, even in a dystopian moment in a world that we live in, we see glimpses of greatness and glory and majesty and hope. We see that, even we can experience it and we go, man, that feels so great and it seems so right. But someday it's going to be even better. So we're going to read about that day today. And it's just the two of you are going to read today. I don't have enough verses for all three of you to read. So who wants to start? I'll take volunteer. Leslie's hand came up first. All right. So Leslie is going to read Revelation 21, verses 1 through 4.
Okay. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no longer any sea. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of the heaven from God, prepared as a bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and He will live with them. They will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God. He will wipe away every tear from their eye, and there will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. For the old order of things has passed away.
All right. And Caleb, you get 5 through 7.
He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. He said to me, it is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give water without cost from the spring of the water of life. Those who are victorious will inherit all this, and I will be their God, and they will be my children.
All right. Now, we described our utopias a moment ago, and though they sounded excellent, they sound nothing like this. In fact, it's hard to even grasp the reality of what this is. But here's the thing. This utopia, as he says, is trustworthy and true. This reality is, well, we said that earlier, the definition, a fictitious thought or something that you create. This is even better than utopia because it's not even going to be a thought or a hope. It's going to be a reality. So when you look through those verses, what jumps out to you that speaks volumes to you about what you can't, or what you look forward to? Like you can't wait to get there to experience it because of that. Anyone? In those verses that we read, which one of those, which pieces of those you sit there and go, man, bring it on?
I guess that, where I start to get choked up or is, the bride beautifully dressed for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, now the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. And they will be his people, and God himself will be with them and be their God.
Yeah.
That I can't think of anything more beautiful.
Right. And again, take it all the way back to the Garden of Eden. And what do we see there in the Garden of Eden that's similar to this?
God was with them.
God was with Adam and Eve, and would have been with all of us, right? And God is with us today.
Right.
It's just a different experience with him. Like, we won't have to wonder anymore, what's it like to physically be in the presence of God? We're going to know. And I'm with you, that part of that, the new heaven and new earth, that it's hard to even fathom because we've been searching for God for so long. And though we have a closeness with him, as we talked about last time, being in shelter and a shadow under his wing, this time he's going to be there. And wow, that's going to be amazing. Anything that jumps out to you when you read those verses?
Just the one that I hear pretty often of he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. There will be no more death or mourning or crying or pain. The old order of things has passed away. So it's like hard to imagine, a world where there would be no death or pain, especially in right now. But that's kind of the time that we're especially living in specifically is, where there's deaths and a lot of pain and a lot of kind of mourning or frustration, because of all this. But yeah, that's pretty crazy to think that there wouldn't be any more pain or crying or death or anything like that. Just, happiness, I guess you can say, just all around joy. It was pretty amazing to think about.
Right.
Absolutely.
So.
And you guys, I'm sure, have done this too, been part of a funeral, or in my case, I've done funerals for people. We call them celebration of lives, which is a great thing to call them because we want to celebrate a person's life. But there's an aspect of this that I point people to in Revelation 21, because why is it that death affects us so much? Why is it that pain affects us so much? And that's because it's not supposed to be that way. It's not supposed to be that way, and we know that. There's something in us again that just like, this is not okay. This is not right. But God says, look, I'm eliminating that. Jesus already has conquered death, which is great. So that part's done with already. For those of us who are following Christ, we don't have to fear death. There's not already. We don't have to be afraid of death.
Right.
But when I read through this, the part that just gets me and just that I love, verse 4, he will wipe every tear from their eyes. I mean, for me, like the thing that you mentioned, that we're going to be in the presence of God, and the thing that you mentioned that there's going to be no more death or dying or sickness, those are so hard to even fathom. They're amazing. But then God always takes it to another level that it's like I don't even feel worthy of. But he makes it so personal that God not only will be there to remind us there's no more death or dying or hurt or pain, but he is going to wipe from our faces every tear. Is he just wipe it away? Why? It's like, thank you, Lord, that you care so much and that your love for me is so great that you're gonna take it to that next level of being very personal with every one of us. So it's not like we're gonna have to just view God from a distance and be like, there he is finally. And honestly, that would be enough. I mean, if I could just see the presence of God and know that I get to dwell with him eternally, that's enough. But he's gonna have personal interaction with us. That blows my mind, which is why ice cream mountains and families on the beach are great things, but nothing compares to what that's going to be like. Yeah. So, yeah, my hope is, as we continue to navigate life, and this applies to all parts of life. We've experienced sicknesses, and we've experienced death, and we've experienced all kinds of stuff. I mean, we have a sinful condition in our world, right? That causes pain and hurt, and it gets very personal sometimes. And so to think, I don't even have to worry about that anymore. That's something to look forward to, not just that we're worried about or concerned about this coronavirus or whatever else is out there at this time. We can trust that God is in the process, even as we speak, getting us to this point. So with that, knowing that this is the great thing is God even tells us that. He tells us that in his word. He shows us, gives us a glimpse. Here's how I'm wrapping it all up. So be ready for it. What would you recommend to those watching, Christian or non-Christian, to them right now with where they're at to get them to this point? What thoughts do you have for them, or advice, or suggestions, or encouragement you have for them?
We have hope.
Yeah.
We haven't lost it, and we have to stay focused on that in our state of being overwhelmed and unsure and restless and all of those things that scared that we are. That there's hope, and it's hope that we have no idea what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's hard for us to. Again, we can't grasp that, we can't understand it, but it is true.
Yeah.
It's truth.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Oh man, yeah. Just kind of trying to picture that in your head, I think could really kind of give you that sense of drive in a sense. Of course, I don't think of heaven as like kind of a goal. I just want to follow Jesus and to love him. But man, that definitely gives you some sense of that sense of hope that you're talking about. The sense that, yeah, this life may be hard right now, but it's not the end factor, or it does get better, that things will improve and that sort of thing, and that Jesus is coming back. I mean, that's exciting to think about in itself, and he's saying, I'm going to make all these things new again and make them the way that they were sort of, intended to be, in a sense. So I think that's definitely something to look at, in a sense of, just trying to picture that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and for me, it's a great reminder to myself that if I think back a couple weeks ago, we talked about Elijah, and he was in the midst of this craziness, and he just kind of wanted to just give up. And God's like, I'm not done with you yet. You got work to do, and I need you to be working. I got these things ready for you to go. Things he didn't have to prepare. God had prepared them, but he needed Elijah to go and finish that work. And so when I think about it, especially for those people who aren't following Jesus, I want those people to be with us in this new heaven and new earth. And so for me, it's a great reminder to go, man, I can't just camp out. I have work to do. And that it's not the work of me doing these things that's going to get me to heaven, but it's the work that's going to get these people who are being prompted by God, by prayer, by other people talking into their lives, whatever it is that God is, when Jesus said to go make disciples of all nations, he meant that to continue going, making disciples, not just in this, go do it once and then you call yourself good and wait for heaven. No, if you have breath in your lungs and you're a Christian, go tell people about this hope. Go tell them about the fact that, we can recognize that things stink. Don't you want things to be better? Is there something in you that just craves that there's something better than this? And I can almost guarantee you everyone's going to say yes. And they're going to say, well, what is it? You have the keys to letting them into that reality. So we need to start unlocking those doors to this new heaven and new earth that people are searching for. Yeah. So it should be an encouragement to our brothers and sisters who do believe to don't give up hope and don't lose faith and don't be discouraged no matter how bad it gets, because this is we're just passing through anyway.
Right.
It's
finish strong.
Finish strong.
Yeah.
And don't just finish any kind of strong. Finish
Jesus
strong. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's our thought for the week, and it's been I get excited when I talk about this kind of stuff, and it makes that other stuff just kind of melt away, and that's the power of Christ. So trust in Him and keep following Him, and we'll do our best to continue to encourage you, equip you, and again, we'd love to hear your stories. If you're not a follower yet and you're watching this, we invite you to give your life to Jesus Christ, okay? You need to talk to someone, talk to us, find someone who knows Him already about what that looks like and what steps you take to follow Him, right? So thank you for joining us. We look forward to this day where we get to be in the presence of God forever. That's going to be a wonderful, wonderful day as He wipes these tears from our eyes with no more pain and suffering. So we just praise Him for that. Stay Jesus strong.